All right. Hi, Ed. Welcome back.
Hi, Cornell. It's great to be here.
So, Ed, I think it's great that you offer a free 30-minute consultation just so that any Canadians interested in getting some professional help can see if you and them are a good fit and basically give everyone a chance to have some questions answered. So, anybody can sign up for a free consultation with you using the form to the right of this video. We've set all of that up already. But for anybody that's on the fence about maybe having that chat with you, can you tell us a bit more about your background and your experience?
All right. I started years ago as an accountant, a CPA, and then went into financial planning when I got my certified financial planner degree. And it was for me. It was more about I found it more fulfilling helping people. So now I'm in a fee for service financial planner. I've I've done I've written comprehensive plans for nearly 1,000 families here in Canada. So I've been through it many times, each one of them very personalized. And I'm also a full service, so it can be a one decision for someone to work with me. We create the plan and also implement it. So I can be your money guru all in one shot. I developed a real passion for finance. So years ago, for personal finance, I started reading a lot. In fact, I had to take a speed reading course because there were so many books to read, and I've read hundreds of books now. I have actually five bookshelves floor to ceiling full of nothing but personal finance books. And I also got into blogging a little more than 10 years ago, and my blog has now become the number one financial blog in Canada for full service certified financial planners. So, which I'm actually pretty proud of. It's trying to be out there educating Canadians. So the blog is called Unconventional Wisdom, and it's a lot about what I've learned over the years from having tons of experience. I've learned that a lot of what most people believe isn't really true or optimal, and so that's what I love to write about.
That's great, Ed. And one of the things that I really respect about you and what I think sets you apart from many of the other financial planners out there is that you've written nearly 1,000 financial plans in the many years that you've been doing the financial planning for Canadians. So, what have you learned from your experience working with so many Canadians and doing that many financial plans?
Oh, great question, Cornell. Yeah, so I've been through a lot, both the reading and also all the experience. And I think it's probably about five big lessons that I've learned. First one is the plan is really beneficial, much more than people realize. And what I found from starting to do plans is I found that most Canadians are way behind on their retirement goal, which was actually quite a shock to me. And it can be difficult to achieve without a financial plan. So, just an example, if you want to retire in say 20 or 30 years, based on this 4% rule that we often use, you'd need $2 million to give you what would 40,000 a year of today's dollars. And $2 million sounds like a lot, but 40,000 isn't a lot. So I went into this retirement plan struggle. How do we find enough money? Considering all the day-to-day expenses that everybody has, and that's a big part of why you need a plan to be able to figure it out. It doesn't happen on its own. So from there, I went to strategies to optimize it, and I found there actually are a lot of ways to try to make it much better. So I started out by just focusing on tax brackets and a bunch of tax strategies, RSP versus TFSA. But I found there was a bunch of tax strategies that actually make it easier. We can get more invested with the same cash flow, like RSP top ups. I have a 2 year RSP loan strategy and catch up loans, and so creative uses for tax refunds and corporations. So I found there's a lot of things that you can do in a plan to try to make it a little bit easier. I also found leverage often works, but it only works for the small portion of people that are really risk tolerant, or long-term investors, and are going to stay investors invested when it's down. But I met Fraser Smith. I got mentioned in his book, and I became an expert in the Smith maneuver. And there's really lots of ways to do it, seven different strategies of it. And I haven't created my own called the Rempel Maximum. And so I find some of these leverage strategies can be a really good way to help. With this retirement planning struggle, there's also a strategy called life cycle investing, which is specifically for millennials. It's the number one strategy that millennials should be looking at. Um, the other thing I found is that you need a higher rate of return, like closer to 8%. So a lot of people tend to invest more conservatively because um, they don't want to. They can't stand the ups and downs of the market. But I find with 5 or 6% rate of return, it's very hard again, or often impossible to get to the retirement that you want. So there's this, you need a high proportion of equities that's in the stock market, but got to be within your risk tolerance. So I found this whole discussion about risk and how to invest is a really big part of having a good plan. And so what I learned, a big part of that is education. I think a lot of people are more conservative because of lack of knowledge, not because they're necessarily that low in risk tolerance. And the stock market, of course, it's quite erratic and unpredictable short term and even midterm, but people are quite surprised when they see how consistent it is long term. And the last thing I think that I learned is that there are ways to maximize the retirement income. Once you get up to retirement, there are ways to maximize income, save tax, and have a more reliable income all in one package. You can do all the three of them at the same time. So I studied a lot of the different ways of doing that, a lot of the rules of thumb that seniors use to find out what really works. And plus, for seniors, everybody thinks that they're going to be in low tax brackets, but there are a bunch of clawbacks of government programs that are essentially taxes, and a lot of seniors end up being in very high tax brackets. So there's ways to actually get around that. So bottom line, the financial planning deals with all that. There's very big benefits from having it.
That's great. Thank you. And can you tell us a bit more about those benefits of having a financial plan done? Is it something that's worthwhile for everyone?
Yes, it's much more worthwhile than people realize. I call it a GPS for your life. It's like the road to financial independence. So, and usually when with the plans that I've done for Canadians, most of the time it actually changes decisions in their life. They end up doing things differently, handling their finances differently, and the benefits are usually many times the cost. I think a lot of people aren't really sure what a plan is and what are they really going to get out of it before they go through it. But out of all the plans that I've done, nobody has ever questioned the benefit of the plan after they receive it. Once you see it, you really see what the benefit is. So, and like I said, you don't really get there without a financial plan. It's a struggle to get to the retirement that you want, and the plan really can do it. And when you optimize everything, you'll be amazed how you can build wealth. Now, I have a sample financial plan that I can send people on request. Just to see how in-depth it is. And also for people who aren't quite sure, I offer a 50% refund satisfaction guarantee. So we go through the first part of it and have the first main meeting. And from that, you'll see what the process is, and you'll see how in-depth it is and how it's going. And at that point, if for any reason you don't want to continue, I'll refund half your money. So we've already spent a lot of time at that point, and you'll have learned a lot, but it's at least a partial guarantee.
Gotcha. And then, yeah, speaking of that, in your process, what kind of services do you offer?
Well, I do offer a Smith Maneuver mortgage referral service, just because I know all the readvanceable mortgages, and it's a way to meet people. But basically, my two main services are preparing a financial plan and helping people implement it, a full service. So look at this kind of all one decision package. So for preparing the plan, I think it's good for people. It's good to actually pay for a plan. You may get some people that offer you a free plan, but they usually are, they're worth what you pay for them. And when you pay for a plan, you're getting objective professional advice and you're getting a real plan. And from my point of view, it tells me that you're really serious about your finances. I have a few different types of plans. Like there's a basic one, which is really a comprehensive plan, which is what most people need, I think. I also have a more comprehensive one for self-employed people with corporations. And then there's, for millennials or people who aren't really into their long-term lifestyle, I have what I call a plan discussion, where we basically point you in the right direction, do part of the planning and point you in the right direction, but don't really write a full plan. So once you have a plan, you can go off and do it yourself, or I will help you implement it. And implementing it means, like full service, means we implement the plan. I help you with that. We do regular reviews. I do your tax returns. I have some exceptional investment opportunities for you. And we're working together over the years to help you, to get you to where your life goals are. Basically, I'm your money guru. Any financial issue that comes up in your life, I'm there for you. So now I'm very selective in who I work that way. I've got a good practice now, so I only work with people that will invest 100% with me. Like have 100% of their long-term investments with me, which some people find is strange. But from my experience, I find that what I call it's a 100 relationship, I think is the only way that you can do effective financial planning, give effective advice. If you got two or more advisors or you don't have an advisor and you're doing part yourself, what you're really doing is just getting sales pitches. You're not really getting comprehensive advice from it. It's the same reason why you have one family doctor and not two or three. One that knows everything is better. So now investment options, I have several different options. I get paid exactly the same on all of them, so you know that it's unbiased advice. And so whatever your option is, whatever, like the best option depends on your situation. But if you have a specific investment philosophy, I'm sure I have something that will be suitable for you. Incidentally, Cornell, I just added a millennial package as well. So it's basically we have a planned discussion to point you in the right direction, and then we invest through a robo advisor. I have a package through there, so you might find that interesting.
Gotcha. No, that's great. Thank you. So how can anybody listening find out more about you, and can you tell us a bit more about the free consultation that you offer as well?
Right. Okay. So I have all the options that I offer are on my blog. And you can also read all the articles. I've got a lot of articles over many different topics. You can do a search there, and there's a lot on the blog. So it's edrempel.com, or you can find that it's unconventionalwisdom.ca, not .com, but .ca. And I offer a free 30-minute consultation, which you can get. There's a link here on Cornell's site here. So, and that is basically, if you can find out whether or not it makes sense for us to work together, and also you can find out whether or not it makes sense to do a plan now. Sometimes you got major changes in your life; it might make sense to wait a little bit. And also, if you're just not quite sure of the benefit or how it all works for you, then you can contact me that way. I find most Canadians are struggling with various financial issues, and often they have something like they're committed to a certain investment concept or something, and they don't want to let go, and therefore they don't end up getting a plan. But when you talk through, this is a chance, the consultation's way that we can kind of talk about what are your issues and how will a plan deal with that, and you get to see that whether or not it makes sense for us to work together.
All right, that's great, Ed. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and also just telling everyone a bit more about yourself, your experience, and for giving everyone a chance to have that free consultation with you, just so they can get some questions answered, at least some initial questions answered, and kind of get started and all of that. So thank you very much, and thank you.
Thanks a lot. Great talking to you, Cornell.
All right, you too, Ed. Thank you. Bye.